Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's Sketchpunky here, and in this video we're gonna have a look at the BMW 2002, one of my favorite BMWs of all time. It's the grandfather of the 3 Series, and I just love the way it looks. I love the proportions, the styling of it. I love everything about this car. So what we're gonna do today, I think it's a good timing because BMW just released their 4 Series concept in Frankfurt yesterday, I think it was, and they took the grille size to a whole new level when it comes to BMW, and it's received mixed reactions to the front and the styling of the 4 Series concept, but to me, I don't have a huge problem with the front design of it. I think BMW is trying to evolve the graphic design of the front fascia, which they've kind of had the same front fascia and been stuck with it since the 2002 and these 2 kidneys. So what they're trying to do is evolve that into something new, and the size of it kind of brings back to the very early BMWs when they had these huge grills, and it seems like they want to bring that styling back. And I think it works pretty decent on the 4 Series. The 7 Series, it looks, for some reason, the 7 Series, it just looks disproportionate, the front grille. But in this 4 Series here, I think it looks alright. The issue, if you want to call it that I have with the 4 Series concept is if you look at it from a certain angle. For example, if you look at it from a 3/4 rear view, it doesn't have that BMW feel to it. It doesn't feel like a BMW. I'm not sure why that is, but it looks more Asian, or like you can almost think that this is a Mazda if you just saw it very quickly from this angle. There's something missing that's essential BMW. I have to analyze it a little bit more to get to the point of what's exactly the problem is with this view. But that's the only real, issue that I have with the 4 Series. The front and the grille, the sides of the grille, I think it's something new that they're trying, and I really like that they're trying to do something else with the front. But I don't know, what do you think about this 4 Series concept? Do you like it? Do you think it's overkill? Or is it innovative and exciting to have a design like this? In this video though, we're gonna focus on the 2002. So what we're going to do, we're not really going to make a huge redesign of it. We're gonna modernize it. And by that I mean, we're going to keep the same proportions of the car, the overall styling, the graphics, where all the graphical features are. I wanna have those pretty much in the same spot as they are on the original. So what we're gonna do, first of all, have a look at all these trim pieces and the chrome. So back in the day, they used to have a body, the shell of the body, and then they had these separate parts that they bolted onto the body. So what we're gonna do to modernize this style is to integrate these parts more into the body of the car. So for example, the front bumper there. So that will be the first step that we do, is to remove these trim pieces. I also think I want to lower the greenhouse a little bit so that we come closer to this ratio of, so maybe to this point right here. So we have 1/3 greenhouse and 2/3 of body of the car. That is kind of the modern standards for cars today. This sits a little too high, so I'm gonna bring this line down a tiny bit to make it more modern. We're gonna focus on the front here and modernize everything that's in the front. So this is going to be completely redone. We're gonna have some LEDs here. We're gonna work on some air intakes right here. Bring the body of the car down, so create a bumper with some splitters maybe, or something like that, with some cool intakes in the corners of the front fascia. Redesign the grille as well. This looks too old, so we're gonna modernize that, the graphics of the grille. When it comes to the wheels, I love these BBS wheels. I think they really fit the 2002. So what I'm gonna do is keep those wheels as they are, but I'm going to raise up this cut lines. So we have larger wheels and larger cut lines for the wheels themselves. So the wheels are going to go up to probably about this point right there, but keep the same styling of the wheels themselves. The design of the wheels is going to stay the same. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Now let's jump into the redesign of the 2002 and let's see how this is going to turn out. Now before we get into the sketching part, just make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you get notified when new videos are uploaded every single week. Helmut Werner Bönsch, BMW's Director of Product Planning, and Alex von Falkenhausen, designer of the M10 engine, each had a 2-liter engine installed in a 1600-2 for their respective personal use. When they realized that they had both made the same modifications to their own cars, they prepared a joint proposal to BMW's board to manufacture a 2-liter version of the 1600-2. At the same time, American importer Max Hoffman was asking BMW for a sporting version of the 02 series that could be sold in the United States. As per the larger coupe and the 4-door sedan models, the 2.0 engine was sold in 2 states of tune. The base engine, single carbureted 2002 producing 101 horsepower, and the dual carburetor high compression 2002 Ti producing 119 horsepower. The 2002 automatic with a base engine and a ZF3HP12 3-speed automatic transmission became available in 1969. The 2002 TII used a fuel-injected 130 horsepower engine from the 2000 TII, which resulted in a top speed of 185 kilometers per hour. That's 115 miles per hour. The 2002 Turbo was launched at the 1973 Frankfurt Motor Show. This was BMW's first turbocharged production car and the first turbocharged car since General Motors' brief offering in the early 1960s. It produced 170 horsepower with 240 newton meters of torque. That's 177 pound-feet of torque. The 2002 Turbo was introduced just before the 1973 oil crisis, and therefore only 1,672 were built. I have to say it took a while to get this redesign going. I was experimenting a lot with the front end graphics of this car since I wanted to keep the original styling and the elements of the front. I wanted to keep them intact but modernize them separately. So each different part of the car, I wanted to modernize them separately and have them still be connected somehow. And I had an issue with that early on. So what I did was to just start over halfway through this redesign and just throw some black on there, and that kind of gives me a blank canvas to work with. And that's exactly what I did. Sometimes you just have to start over and rethink what it is you actually want to do with your design. What do you want to communicate? Do you want to have a complete redesign, meaning that all the parts of the car are completely new and you can't really have any resemblance to the original 2002? Or do you want to keep the spirit of the 2002 intact while working on the graphical elements? And I obviously wanted to keep the original feeling of the 2002 in this redesign while working on the details. One thing I really love about the 2002 is the front end. I love this angle that BMW had. I used to have a 518 back in Sweden from, I think it was a 1983 or something like that. And they had this shark nose that you see on the 6 Series as well, the early 6 Series. And I love that feature of the early BMWs. It just gives this aggressive look that you can push through any kind of the weather or whatever. The BMW is just gonna push through it. That's the feeling that I had as a kid. I remember it still today, that I thought BMWs just looked like you could drive them forever and they would never let you down. And that's the feeling that I want to have in this redesign as well. You know, it's interesting to see the development of car design from just a couple of decades ago, from I would say the 90s or late 80s or something like that until today, and the huge advancement in technology. It's kind of maybe not sad. I mean, it's good that we are developing the technology, but at the same time, I feel like cars today, they become more generic and they lose a lot of their personality. I hope that comes back with the electrification of cars, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, because when you have an electric car, it becomes even more like a computer, like you're driving a computer, and you don't have the feeling of driving something. Instead, you feel like something is driving you. And I think the 2002 is one of these really OGs when it comes to cars that are meant to be driven. And it's not something that you want to be driven in, you want to drive this car. So we're coming to an end of this redesign. All that's left now is to show you the before and after and work on a couple of details. And that's the redesign of the BMW 2002. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as I enjoyed making it. Keeping it the same proportions, lower the roofline just a little bit, and black everything out. The chrome pieces, wanted to black those out or delete them completely while still keeping these BBS wheels. I think those fit the 2002 very good. If you want to learn how to sketch with pen and paper or digital, you can check out my courses down below in the description. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. As always, I'm the Sketch Monkey, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.